Alright, so we've got a test feed going on right here, right now, right? This is just for now, just to bypass protocols, right? Some of you may think I'm stupid and don't know how to do that. However, I think I've shown already that I kind of know how this stuff works. So, good thing is we can still bypass protocol. Nice. I definitely hear some of these creatures still running their mouths, still trying to speak towards intellect that they're not spiritually qualified to critique. So very interesting. We're all in the same, and no, we're not the same. There are haves and there are have-nots. Obviously, we're not all the same, and don't let these people fool you into that shit. That Tavis Smiley bullshit, that KBLA channel, that's one of the most low-budget, ridiculous. I mean, to have that much money behind what it is you're doing, that they're doing, that programming is extremely low budget. It's extremely left-wing, right? They definitely get angry at people who disagree with them or who don't like their talking points, their viewpoints. They have serious issues over there. And I can go through the day just tapping into different feeds, watching these people and breaking them down to their finite components, is the way that I would say it. They're definitely not spiritually qualified to critique me or to tell me what is the best course or recourse for me as that pertains to any of my personal relationships. For them to even attempt to do so is not only revealing, but then it also espouses that nation of Islam, wannabe Scientology, wannabe Dianetic process that they're not too terribly good at. They're not too terribly good at auditing people. They just aren't. They don't have the brain for it. They don't have the intelligence for it. They don't have the mental capacity for it. They definitely don't have the intellect to profile a profiler. It's all very interesting. I don't let it bother me, only because all of those people who are supposed to be such great celebrities are supposed to be supposed to have had these media careers, and they're part of these different guilds and these different unions and these sorts of things. For them to have what they're supposed to have, right, as far as money is concerned or anything else, their entire process is extremely low budget. Their program is low budget. Their show is low budget. Like, I'm sure people are tired of watching Tavis Smiley with the mic in his face like this, right? Because he has motor tics, right? He has problems. He has a neurological problem. He has a neurological issue so he keeps the mic in his face while he's twitching and bugging out, right? And you know, that's not to make fun of him. That's just to say, like, he's not in control of his motor functions, and he's been accused of a lot of things, and I don't think that particular person is qualified to continue or to even have started trying to navigate a radio program, or to direct a radio program, to direct a radio station. And then I can watch, from show to show, whether it's Dominique DePrima, which she's the star of that particular station, I would say. She has the most intellectually stimulating program. However, it's a program. Those are people trying to tell people what they should and should not be doing and what they should not be voting for in order to what they've done is the same thing that they accuse these politicians of. They write these enormous propositions and these enormous bills that have so many pages that you'll never read all of it. So as long as they can get it to pass, then a bunch of things go into effect, and it could be things that you don't agree with or things that you're not good with. However, as long as they can get you to, participate in the process one way or another, then it seems like the people are behind it. Also, as far as voting is concerned, there are a few reasons I'm not going to vote, and I don't need to explain this. The first reason is that I don't want to. When I want to vote, I'll go out and I'll vote. The second reason is I'm not going to vote for candidates or people that I'm not sure of their background or their belief system or their character. I'm just not going to do it. I don't care how pretty you are. I don't care how, you seem to be cool or any of that stuff. People are very treacherous in that regard, and I am not going for that. Also, so different states have different laws as that pertains to voter registration information and what information is public record and what information is available to different outlets, whatever those outlets might be. So in the state that I'm in at present in Oklahoma, should I decide to vote, that vote is public record. And then also my address becomes also public record, as well as any other information that I provide. And every state is not that way. Every state in the United States doesn't do things that way. However, in the state that I reside at present, that's the way things are. And so already, we have this tug of war with lower personalities, we'll say, lower beings, lower vibrational figures that have platforms that allow for them to do very treacherous things or to promote and to accept extremely treacherous concepts, many of which are beneath me, and I'm not interested in that sort of stuff. I have goals and I have plans for my life and for my future, much of which has nothing to do with, city life or being totally involved in every element or aspect of politics, unless it's necessary for me to do so. What you're seeing from these political parties is people are not respecting other people's free will. And when I say free will, I don't mean the freedom to do whatever the hell you want to do. Because there are going to be consequences. There are going to be sequences that accompany certain situations, and many of which are going to lead to slavery. There are consequences, and some of these people, they're extremely brilliant all of a sudden, like some fucking, pardon my language, one of them Tavis Smiley clowns, jokers, whatever they're supposed to be, was saying some things, brought up Krishnamurti, right? Because I posted Krishnamurti. You're going to tell me what Krishnamurti said. You're going to tell me all these. You don't even know why I posted Krishnamurti. How could you tell me anything? Then you're going to speak towards an ego. That's interesting. You might want to leave a killer alone. You might want to leave a killer alone and not mess with an eagle or an ego or whatever you want to say. It's probably beneficial to you and your network and your conglomeration of whack-ass wannabes from Baldwin Hills and Leimert Park and Africa Town to stop trying to get me to see things through your distorted Negroid lens that is, a bunch of black power nonsense that I don't agree with. And then you can call me a racist, a fascist, whatever you want to call me. I don't care about any of that stuff. At the end of the day, what it boils down to is these people are trying to control power that is beyond them. And I've proven that point already. They're trying to wrangle an intellect that is beyond their ability to comprehend in this lifetime, for sure. Some of those people have many more lifetimes to go, and some of them don't even believe in such a thing, and they're going to regress. They're going to return to the third dimension as creatures and animals, and I don't mean humans that identify with creatures and animals. I mean, they're going to return as creatures from lower orders, and it's going to be more suitable to them and more suitable for them because of their mentalities and their behavior patterns. It's just the way things are. That's the way it is. When someone, especially these fake Scientologists, Muslims, black Muslims, that go to telling people about their ego and all this other stuff, they want me to be down to earth. None of them want to be down to earth, though. Right? That's that crab syndrome they have. That's that crab mentality. They show their pinchers. They do like this. Right? Hey, I got a like. That was pretty cool. Okay. Anyway, that they would like me to be grounded. They would like to ground me and elevate themselves. Now think about why they would want to do that. They would want me to be grounded so that they could tap into energy without being electrocuted or without suffering that energetic, pulse that is going to tear their ass up because they cannot contain that force. They cannot contain those particles. They cannot contain that energy. If they could, they wouldn't need me to tell them everything. They wouldn't need me to show them everything. And I've already stated, these people have been following me for as long as I can remember. And when I say it, I mean like on some gang stalking type stuff. It started out about music. It started out about, different people in San Diego trying to copy what it is that I was doing at a time when there weren't that many rappers or musicians or however you say it. And that's when I met Nick Cannon's mother. Right? Nick Cannon's mother got me fired from the job that I was working at because I told her in front of a few people that I don't listen to Nick Cannon's music. Now, why she took that personally from me, that's her problem. You see what I mean? But she did take that personally, and it then becomes now common fact that he's not a great musician. He's just not. He wants to be a triple threat. He wants to be a rapper, actor, and comedian, right? Okay, maybe a better actor than a rapper for sure. As far as comedian is concerned, I mean, I've never really, I don't think he's terribly humorous either. However, there are people who want to be celebrated, and there are people who want people to know the best things about them, or the things that they feel are good things about themselves, whatever those things might be. Some people, they have a problem with their height, but they feel like they're packing, so they want everyone to look at their junk. People have different issues. Some women are not very attractive in the face, but they would love to show off their behind, or whatever it is that in and of themselves they feel is the good part of themselves or the attractive part of themselves. And it just so happens that I don't have that problem. I don't feel unattractive, or I don't feel like there is an unattractive part of myself. I know that there are pros and cons to everything, and that's the way atoms work. There are positives and negatives in every atom. There are positives and negatives in every element. And as such, I don't allow at this point, especially through this television or through the internet, through YouTube, I don't allow people to, as best as I can, to get into my head like that. Even though I know that they're spying on me, even though I know that these people have like a network, and it's a surveillance network. Listen, they're not, mentally tapped into my frequency or any sort of thing like this. These people, some of them are hackers, some of them are stalkers. It is a network. They tend to keep track of certain people. They do that for a reason, and I'm one of the people that they decided that they wanted to try to keep track of for various reasons. It's not something that makes me feel crazy anymore or that bothers me much anymore. There are other things that I deal with and other issues that I deal with. For beyond, I've accepted that when I see things, I know that I saw that. When I see spirits, I know what I saw. When people see me do things, they know what they see, and that scares them. Like it's a thing where a lot of people's dreams and as well as their nightmares become reality, and that could be scary, that could be frustrating, that could be exciting, while at the same time being extremely terrifying, especially to know that one person has so much power. That could really be frightening. And it wouldn't be any better if it were myself in a group of people, or myself and 5 or 6 people, myself and 1,000 people, how many ever people. But to see one person do so many amazing things all over the place, everywhere I go, that could be scary for some people, and I understand that. Or I don't understand it, but I can comprehend those feelings. I can process those feelings and definitely, empathize or sympathize with those people who may be imps and simps. Right? We use a lot of pimp talk these days. We use a lot of pimp language these days, and that's all very interesting. Anyway, my camera's down here now. I have to put it on another tripod, which I have. So, I've been blessed. And some people they'll say, "Well, how are you able to do the things that you're doing, or how are you making the things happen the way they're happening?" As far as material things that I have, things that I have access to. And first thing is, I try to save money where I can. The second thing is that I'm blessed, and a lot of people, they would want me to want so much more. They would want me to be striving to have just some huge mansion that requires, 15 people to keep it clean, to keep it going, right? To guard it, to secure it. And I mean, just the mansion. However, I'm in control of many mansions, and I don't mean small mansions. I mean in abundance, a plethora of mansions, right? And as such, I mean, sometimes that's a joyful experience, and sometimes it's frightening, and sometimes it's unsettling. However, usually, most of the time, it is a joyful experience. It's something that just to watch some of the things that I see in people, and their behaviors, and to be able to study the way humans interact with each other, the way that humans interact with animals, the way that humans interact with technology. Just, it's fascinating. It's just as fascinating to me as if I were watching an ant farm, or if I'm watching birds in the wild, or any other thing. And then there's that center of gravity, right? There's that pole star, right? And then there's the wobble and tilt of the Earth and its elliptical orbit. And, you know, the people who know how that stuff works, as opposed to the people who don't know how that sort of thing works. Spiral dynamics are amazing, because as we propel forward through space, right? These planets, these heavenly bodies, they're spinning and they're orbiting, and they're propelling each other forward. They're propelling one another forward using their spin cycle and gravitational pull and all of these other fascinating things to create a golden ratio, to create a spiral dynamic that is perfect. And that's the reason why we are able to inhabit this planet, because the golden ratio is the golden ratio. And until a person is able to transcend certain frequencies and vibrations, you know, they won't have a clear understanding of this stuff, especially not beyond what I've explained to them. So I went into a restaurant not too long ago, and I saw everything that happened after I had a simple conversation over a sandwich. And also the people who now think that they have a clear understanding of spiral dynamics, and they think that they are on the path to Einsteinhood and all these other things. However, they didn't figure those things out for themselves. And that's part of the beautiful experience that we have, right? Is that there are people who have documented certain causes and effects that allow the next generation to use that information to continue forward. That's kind of the way science has worked. However, there are also things that are top secret, or that are extremely secret, and should not be shared with other people, especially what is the general public, or what people call the profane. Why are they called the profane? They're called the profane because they're going to twist intellect and try to turn it into their mojo, or their power, or cause it, try to make it work for what they want it to be. And we've seen that throughout history. However, a lot of these lower vibrational creatures, these lower vibrational beings, especially and unfortunately as that pertains to a lot of these pre-Adamites who have no idea how different hominoids, different species of pre-Adamites mixed and further mixed to create different branches of humanity, some of which are absolutely not the same, however many of which have mixed and became hybrids and are what they are now. Which is why you have people arguing over things like melanin and Neanderthal DNA and Rh negative, the blood types, and these sorts of things. I think I'm going to close it on that note. So we know, I put my weight pile in my yard, so pretty soon I'll be back on the weights again, and I'll try to get my cardio up again. I go through little phases where sometimes I put on weight, and it usually has a lot to do with people outside, people trying to cause me issues and problems. And than my desire to stay away from them. They're trying to turn me into a crab. Why are they trying to turn me into a crab? Right? Because they would like to see me in hermit mode. And, there's a whole beautiful world out there. And I definitely participate in it when I feel like doing so. And when I don't feel like doing so, I don't. Because there's too much happening out there. And plenty of these people don't care anything about other people. They say they do, but they don't. So know that. Unless you're doing something for them, they could give a damn about anything. So I'm going to close it on that note. I will probably update this screen again. Keep it funky, right? A little variety or whatever. And I have some things that I need to look into, as well as maybe have some tea, some chamomile tea, before I look into some things. I go by the handle Ray Azu Sovereign, Demetrio Della Rosa, MadDoggBlue. My name is Demetrius, and this is the Spiritual Warhouse. I took the sovereign off of there, but I'm going to put a crown up there. That's what I'm going to do, right? And all that sovereign citizen stuff, all this other stuff, some people, they're not qualified to tell me anything about anything. Especially, so it's not sovereign, it's sovereign people, right? Some people don't want to go on dates with men, and some people don't have mandates, and some people do. Some people's mandates come from heaven. In order to understand any society, including the Hum society and heaven and earth, you have to level up, and it's gonna take lifetimes. It's gonna take lifetimes. I'm willing to bet there were people who knew that I was going to be born around a certain time and come into this world around a certain time, and they have been testing me my whole life.